Yeah, there we are. I went live and I didn't even have my picture up. It's been a long day, guys. All right, well, welcome everybody. If you are watching the live stream, I see a couple of people. I see Rachel and Abby on YouTube. It looks like Morgan is ready. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh boy.
There. Okay, I just want to make sure audio was working.
I was like, oh no.
All right. No, you're fine. How are the new additions?
The super pets are they're getting used to being in the condo. They decided that they both needed to go back behind the bookshelf through some books, which I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, okay, that's something you're gonna do. I was like, oh, Mike, because Mike's had cats before, so he was like, oh, they're gonna get everywhere. I was like, where can they get? And like before I knew it, I like saw, and then they were like squeezing themselves in, like just tunneling into a book, and I was like, what?
Yeah, get used to your window blinds being messed with. My cat was always in there with the window blinds. Well, that's fine. So if you guys don't know, Morgan and Mike got cats. They got kittens.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yes. So it's very exciting for me. I'm like, oh, now I can see new pictures of kittens. That's fun.
I'll keep some kitten updates. I'll keep the kitten updates going.
Please, and if they want to guest on the podcast,
I'm sure that they will.
Yes.
The most interested that they were in us today was like, I think when we were eating like a hamburger and suddenly they were like, hey, and like they're like rubbing against it. I was like, now you want to talk to us now. Excuse me, Beaker and Bunsen.
So are you going to create an Instagram account?
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. I had a friend who was like, don't do that. Like,
I think you should.
The cat doesn't need one, and I was like, but don't they? In these dark times, the least I can do is create a cat fluencers.
I think you should. So it looks like we've got some people in the chat. If y'all want to, we're gonna hang out for a second and let some people come in. So we'll wait a few more minutes. But it looks like we got Rachel, we got Paula, we got Abby, Riley, and Laura. Leslie's shown up, so that's good. So if you guys want to drop a comment where you're watching from, I'm very curious where everybody is right now.
Yeah. And to Riley, who asks, the kittens are named Beaker and Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
If you don't know, those are Muppets.
Which are the Muppets names. We're now calling the study, what we used to call the study, Muppet Labs. And every time that they get in trouble, I'm like, Dr. Bunsen, are you conducting an experiment? He was like, I had to see if I could get behind the bookshelf, and turns out I can. Come along, Beaker. And I was like, oh no, stop.
So which one is Bunsen and which one is Beaker? Because I know they're a little bit different color.
Yeah, so the more tabby one is Bunsen. Okay. And the lighter gray one is Beaker.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Paula's watching from Melbourne. Is that the correct way to pronounce it? Australia?
The great state of New Jersey, Leslie. Me too.
Maryland, Rhode Island, Argentina. Nice. Awesome. All right. Well, I guess it is 8:04. So I guess we could get started. So let me so Morgan, I think I'm going to pull us up. So I'm going to lose my ability to see. I'm going to have to pull up the stream here. The problem with the screen sharing is that I will lose my ability to see the screen.
Oh.
So I've got to pull up I forgot to do it. I have to pull up a second monitor, which is my iPhone. Real fancy up in here. Real fancy. I really don't want to show you guys my setup because it's real rough. We've got Riley's listening and watching from Missouri.
Oh, nice.
We've got a San Antonio. Nice.
Argentina.
All right,
that's cool.
I do have my second monitor up now. I'm just going to turn this down. Okay. All right. So just so everybody knows, we do not have the capability through StreamYard to play music and sound effects. I'm going to figure that out eventually, I promise. but don't expect the Supergirl Radio theme song or any DC TV plugs. Although I'll add that in later, so Morgan, you don't have to read that.
If you want, I can like old times. I can go back to it. I mean, I'll probably get winded at the end, but I feel like once again I rise to read the DC TV plugs.
No, I think you'll be all right. I think I went ahead and took them out for the live show, but we'll put them back in at the end. So don't be expecting any of the music that you normally hear. We'll add it in when we actually release it on the feed, but for the live version, haven't quite figured that out just yet. So once we get started, we won't have any music or sound effects. All right. So here's the thing. So, okay. Just so Morgan, just so you know, sorry guys, we're like working out the kinks while we got to get live. So I'll share my screen and you'll be able to see it.
I was gonna say, do I have to pull up the wig document? I'll be honest that I didn't look. I looked at it a little bit, but I was like, I want to come in fresh. I want to come in with some fresh perspectives, fresh takes.
I want your fresh hot takes on
exactly.
The wigs. So it's a little complicated for me. I've got a Google Doc and I've also got StreamYard and then I've got a PowerPoint that I need to screen share. So this is going to be a little complicated, but we will get it done. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and get started, guys, and feel free to leave us any comments or questions in the comment section. And you're definitely going to be rating some wigs with us. So get ready for that. All right, Morgan, are you ready to go?
I'm so ready.
All right. Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the CW Supergirl TV series and the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Workin Glennon.
And for this episode of the podcast, we are live and wired with our final hiatus episode before Supergirl actually comes back.
I can't believe it's finally coming back.
We've been waiting, it seems like forever. It seems like another lifetime has passed us by this point. But Supergirl is finally coming back to wrap up season 5 with, and we are back, I should say, to wrap up this part of the season 5 hiatus with a topic that was requested by our listeners. So if you have ideas for us that you want us to do on the podcast, this is proof. We do listen to those ideas and we do take listener requests.
If you're like, talk about some wigs, we're like, sure, let's get some wigs.
It's one of the better listener requests that we've had. But it was very highly requested, especially on Instagram. A lot of Instagram listeners and followers over there really wanted the wig. So this is our gift to you, is the wig episode. Finally, we're doing it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're actually going to look at some different wigs that have popped up in the CW and the Arrowverse. We're gonna cover more than just Supergirl, because all Arrowverse shows have wigs.
So many wigs,
and so many different characters, which is what was surprising for me. And this is not comprehensive. We've probably missed some wigs. So if you know of some wigs that you want us to rate, drop them in the comment section. We can pull them up on a URL. So if we missed a wig, let us know. But how this is going to work is that we're going to look at a wig, and to determine whether or not it's a good wig, we're going to say Workin It. So good wig is Workin It.
Workin It.
And if it's a bad wig, it's Wiggy. So
just Wiggy.
So drop those in drop them in the comment section. Feel free to play along with us to determine whether or not it's Workin It or Wiggy. All right, so I'm going to pull up a little PowerPoint here so we can actually see the document. All right, so or the PowerPoint slide. All right, so you should be able to see it now, Morgan.
Yeah.
All right, so I figured we would start with Supergirl, the show that we talk about every week.
Makes sense.
Is about Supergirl. So, all right. So the most wig action I think we've seen from Kara / Supergirl was in the 100th episode when they had to go back and show some flashbacks. And they couldn't really do it.
Pre-bang flashbacks.
Yes. the bangs were sort of preventing the exact match, so they had to go with a wig. So Morgan, I think we've got several different versions of Kara's wigs here. So I guess it would depend. Should we go scene by scene? Because maybe it's different in the scene.
It's gonna depend on lighting, because the first slide, I can kind of tell it's a wig, but she's kind of in the dark. She's kind of far away. It's like, at first glance, you're kind of like, yeah, it looks okay. Something's up, but I'm not quite sure what. So like, I'm gonna give that like a passing score. I'm gonna say you're working it.
Okay, all right. So this is too wiggy for me. It's just it's too noticeable for me, especially in this scene. Like, I remember when the trailer appeared for it the week before. I was like, oh, that's a wig. Like, I noticed it immediately, and it was too much for me. So I'm going to say Wiggy on this one.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody has any thoughts in the chat. I might be a little delayed since my screen is on the second monitor. So do we have any comments?
Rachel is saying it does depend on the lighting, and there wasn't much that they could do to avoid, I guess, the wigs. Abby wants to know if there can be a winner, the best wig, and we could call it a big wig, if you will.
Oh, I love it. That's a great idea. Okay, so
puns.
All right, so Morgan, I think we're gonna have to just keep that in mind while we look through these best wig, like a best in show, best in wig.
Paula says, "I love Kara, but this was wiggy. It was distracting." Yeah.
Distracting, I think the idea of having a good wig is if it just blends in.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know that you're looking at a wig. You're not like very aware of it all the time.
Yeah. All right. So we've made our determination on that one. So let's go to this scene.
That's a wig.
Change?
That's wiggy. We've crossed the horizon where she's gotten closer to the camera and the lighting's gotten slightly better. It's still dark, so it's still kind of passable, but not enough.
So this is interesting because I'm going to go the opposite.
What?
Of what I just said. And I'm going to say that she's working it in this scene. Yes, it is wiggy. Like, you can see that it is a wig. But I don't know. She looks like Kara more. She looks like Supergirl more in this scene than in the other one. So I'm going to say working it here.
Okay. Fair. We're having some differences of opinion already. Donna says bad wig. Laura says wiggy. And Riley says, I feel like highlights on the wig are seeping through my screen, but it's manageable.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's sort of my take on it. It's like, yeah, it's very noticeably a wig. It's very distracting, but I can maybe let it pass with this one.
Yeah, like I can live with it. It's not the worst, but I can tell.
So for me, this is interesting to actually go through these because it does change on the lighting and in the scene, and maybe with the emotion too and the action that's happening.
Like what is the wig's motivation?
To stay on her head, I think, is the actual motivation. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this is a little.
This is wiggy for me. It looks like it's about to fly off her head. Up and away, says the wig, and then it just disappears.
All right, so maybe it's my Kara bias. And it probably is, but I'm gonna say working it on this one. It's very clearly a wig.
Yes,
but I don't know. Maybe it's because I miss the Supergirl princess curls. Like, she had those.
Oh yeah, I do. I do like those.
So maybe that's sort of helping me here. And this one is like, the scene has a little bit more light in it. So I don't know if that makes a difference in why I like it, but I don't know. In this one shot, I'm going to say working it.
Fair. All right. We're having some differences of opinions on these wigs. So Danny says, yeah, that's wiggy. And Donna says, definitely wiggy. Rachel says, Melissa looks good in wigs, even when they're obvious.
That is a fair opinion. Even the worst wig. I don't think she could look bad in a real wiggy wig. So speaking of which, I think this is a little bit different wig. So I think this is from the 100th episode, and this is still trying to replace the bangs that they could not. No, yes,
Yeah.
trying to go back to before to kind of replace the wigs replace the bangs in terms of trying to recreate the pre-bang look.
Yeah.
So your thoughts, Morgan?
I'm gonna go Workin It on this one. I feel like it's not like, I guess if I like look at it, I can tell it's almost passable. I feel like it's almost passable. Now, a lot of that is because it's like her hair is up.
Yeah.
So like all you really see is the front, and I think that they did a decent job on the front. So I go Workin It.
Workin It. Yeah, I'm gonna go Workin It here because like I can tell it's a wig, and I know it's a wig because I know the circumstances of the wig. But maybe if I didn't, maybe I wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
It's not distracting. I'll say that. So I'll say Workin It on this one.
I think the chat is agreeing with us for the most part. Leslie says Workin It. Although Riley says this wig needs to go back to the clan it belonged to. I'm sorry, it's just too wiggy.
Too wiggy. All right. Yeah. Well, that's fair. That's fair. So Melissa did have a couple of wigs for the 100th episode.
She did.
That's what happens when you change up the hairstyle. You got to.
It's all the bangs' fault.
You got to rely on those wigs. All right. So I think this is a different flashback. I tried to pull the correct one. So this is a little different take on the Cara Danvers wig.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this wig a Workin It. I think it's a wig. I think we're all here with this wig being a wig, but it's not super distracting to me. Like in this still scene that I'm looking at, like I'm not thinking to myself, what is happening on top of her head, and is it going to leave her at some point? Like I was on the other wig where it was kind of like, hi. This one seems settled onto her head, and like it's like along for the ride in this scene. So I'm giving it a Workin It.
I think the curls make a difference for me. I don't know why that is, but I think that makes, and the curls, I don't know, for some reason make it look a little more natural. So I'm gonna go Workin It on this one.
Yeah,
I think.
Laura says Working It on a low key hair day. And Riley says, I think this worked pretty well. It definitely looked like her hair did in season 4, episode 2, which I don't remember exactly, but
that was I believe that was Fallout when they had to escape Mercy. It was almost like a bottle episode where like Kara and Lena
that was a good one,
running around. Yeah, that was pre Mercy Graves' death.
R.I.P. and we will never forget.
Yeah, that was a good episode. All right. So this one is a little bit a different take on Kara. This time this is Linda Lee / Red Daughter. So what are your thoughts on this wig?
Oh boy, that's wiggy. That's really wiggy. It's like, I don't know if it's because I'm so used to seeing Kara with the blonde hair, so that like as soon as she's got dark hair, it automatically like reads as wrong to me. And then if like when you add to it like the fact that the wig has kind of like an unnatural shine on one side where it looks like it's like reflecting light somehow, not in a way that normal hair does. I think that it all combines to make a very wig-like wig.
Yeah, the unnatural way it's sort of falling down over her shoulders, that looks real wiggy to me. So I'm gonna go wiggy on this one.
Let's see. Donna says that wig actually resembles the image of Linda Lee that I remember from the comics. Interesting. And Riley says this wig gives me Dark Betty from Riverdale vibes. Been better, but not the worst. It's true.
And to be fair, this wig was meant to be a wig.
Yes.
Like in the other instances, it was trying to actually be her hair, but this was
remember when her
intentionally.
hair looked like that? I don't, but
This was intentionally supposed to be a wig.
yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, does that change your answer if you think about it that way?
I mean, as a wig-like wig, it is ultimately successful in being a wig. And so I guess on that level, she is working it because she's like, this is a wig. We all know it's a wig.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna still
very
go.
wiggy.
I'm gonna still go Wiggy on this one.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, so that, yeah, okay, so we're in the Alex Danvers.
Oh no, I'm scared of this section of the.
Don't worry, we've got your favorite wig in here.
I can't wait. So okay, so this one is Alex Danvers with long hair, and she's kind of got that like Snooki like thing where like the front crown of her hair is pulled back and then kind of pushed forward. And so for that reason, and almost that reason only, I'm giving it a Wiggy, because I don't believe that Alex Danvers would ever have worn her hair like that. Like, it's not Jersey Shore. So I reject the premise of this hairstyle.
Well, after you said all that, I feel weird not agreeing, but I'm gonna say Workin It. I think she pulls it off, even though that is not maybe the choice that maybe Alex would have made for herself. I think it actually blends pretty well, and it's not as noticeable. So I'm gonna give it a Workin It.
That's fair. That's fair. It's not the worst wig I've seen. But I don't approve of the hairstyle, and I feel like I can't give it a vote of confidence. Paula says, in this still, Workin It, but agree with Morgan, not an Alex hairstyle. Danny says, oh no, I can't even handle this wig on Alex. I laughed so hard the first time I saw it. Donna said, a precursor to the severe DEO hairstyle. She kept the middle and chopped the sides. And Leslie said she just came out of the drunk tank. So, okay, does that change it for me? Because this does feel like the hairstyle of somebody who is going out doing shots all night.
Oh, yeah, you got to put it in context.
Okay, I've changed my rating. She's Workin It because she was going out to the club. She didn't even care. The club couldn't even handle her right now. Is the thing. So I've changed my rating.
And with all that, she still looks pretty good. So so good for Alex. All right, so we're gonna go to the next Alex hairstyle. All right, you remember this wig?
I wasn't ready. No, I don't remember it because I had blocked it out of my mind. I'd repressed it like Martian Manhunter had just mind wiped it from my memory. Oh no. Okay. Okay. No, I'm getting right with it. That's so blonde and so very wiggy. Yeah, no, that's a down vote for me. I mean, I guess if I look at it and I force myself to look at it, it's not the worst wig I've ever seen, honestly. Like, if I didn't know who that was, I might think that was something approximating natural hair, but it just looks she looks like a desperate housewife in this whole ensemble, and I know that that's what she's going for, but it still creeps me out.
Yeah, she was pretending to be a mom to Martian Manhunter as a little boy as they were leaving National City.
She looks like somebody who would be calling your manager. I just don't. I don't like it.
This is tough because it is obviously a wig. And we know, I mean, we see it. I think we see it in the episode. I haven't watched it in a while, but I think we see her like maybe take it off. Like, we know it's a wig because it's in the episode as a wig. I don't know. I think she's Workin It. I think it's cool that she sort of looks like Eliza in this wig.
That's fair.
So in terms of context, I'm going to say Workin It for this one.
Yeah, Rachel says Alex is imitating Eliza. You can't fault her for that. Leslie says it was a disguise and she looks pretty good. Donna says, I would have been upset if they'd pulled this wig out of Mothballs for Super Alex episode. That said, it kind of works.
Now, that would have been interesting if she was Super Alex with blonde hair, like
Yeah.
Supergirl. That would have been a little different look. Although I think, and we'll get to Super Alex because she's definitely in here.
Of course.
So we'll definitely rate that. But all right, so we got some good, well-rounded thoughts on this one, I think. All right, so this wig was, I believe, from Man of Steel in season 4. So Alex and Kyler had a different hairstyle at the time. So this was a wig to try to go back and flashback to some earlier, to an earlier time period. So what are your thoughts, Morgan?
Okay, so I feel like I'm being way harsh on poor Alex's wigs, but I have to give this one a Wiggy. There are a couple of different aspects to it. One, this is supposed to be approximating one of my favorite Alex Danvers haircuts, and it's not doing it well. And then 2, it looks like both sides of her hair are trying to flee her from in opposite directions at the same time. And I don't know. It just, there's something going on where it's like, it's all one section, but it's also piecey. I don't understand. It's just, it's reading a lot like a wig to me.
No, I see what you're talking about with this one. And I agree. This is probably my favorite Alex Danvers haircut. Like season 1 Alex was my favorite look for her. This is gonna be a wiggy for me. I agree. It's too noticeably a wig.
Yeah,
I can't get over it for this one. I can't justify this one. So
no, it's like a helmet of hair that she's cut off. I do feel like her head is protected, but I mean, at what cost? Danny says this one was way too stiff, wiggy. Rachel says it looks like Black Widow cosplay.
Oh,
which it does, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Dowlin says this one is sad because we have actual hair to compare it to. Leslie says the wig hair isn't even blended into her real hair. Oh, yeah,
maybe
that's what I'm picking up, I think.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, totally.
Angelica says it looks like she hasn't washed it in months.
Oh, no.
Which is also true.
All right. Well, I think we've completely analyzed this one. Definitely a wiggy, I think, all around.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Morgan.
Yes, we've gotten to where I was always meant to be. Hello, old friend.
All right, let's get into it.
Can I vote this one my big wig just because I love
it? You have a love-hate relationship with this Alex wig.
It's one of the worst wigs I've ever seen. Obviously, it's wiggy. Literally just looks like she's got a braid sticking out of the side of her head. It's like they didn't even try. They were like, we could get you a wig, or we could just, like, I don't know, put on this thing. Like, and then somebody was like, I don't know, I don't think it really looks good. It's fine, we'll braid it.
So I'm guessing you're a wiggy on this one.
I'm a wiggy, definitely on this one.
I think I'm also going to go wiggy on this one. I appreciate the effort to show Alex with a different hairstyle because this was in Elseworlds. So you kind of have to put it in that context that it's trying to be Alex, but a little different in terms of what we think of Alex. So I appreciate the thought of trying something new. But boy, is it definitely a wig. So,
boy, oh boy.
I'm going to go wiggy on this one.
Yeah, we have let me scroll up to some of the comments. I want to know why she has this braid, says Leslie. Rachel says it would look better if the ponytail was tighter or the braid. Danny says the absolute worst wig, which is true. Riley says, I think if this was just the short hair, it would work, but the braid looks like extensions that 6th graders added to experiment. Yeah. Amber says it's PlayStation 2 level graphics wig.
Huh.
Yeah. This is not a good look. This is a sad Alex, and it's being reflected in her hair. And so in many ways, I respect the storytelling choices. If this Alex came to me, I would also be like, what has gone wrong in your life? And how can I help you?
So it did help tell the story of the character.
It did. And that wig actually had motivation. And its motivation was the head I'm on is miserable.
Well, it did its job. We just don't care for it.
Angelica says, is this Katniss Everdeen cosplay? Which is a good question. She just comes out. She's got a bow and arrows. Happy Hunger Games.
Maybe it is a Katniss wig.
Could be. They're like, oh, hey, we had this on the lot. You want to put it
on? All right. So I think we're going to go full Wiggy on this one. The Alex ones are a little easier to really get a general consensus on, I think.
Yeah, I think that's because most of the Kara ones were like they were trying to replicate her past hairdos.
That's
and most of the Alex ones are like, this is an alternate reality. She's blonde. She's got a braid sticking out of her hair. It's like, okay, no, I don't like any of those looks.
Yeah, they are trying to show a different side of Alex. All right, so on to the next one. Okay, so we got Super Alex in here. What do you think, Morgan?
So this is a wig. Like I look at it and I see and I know that it is a wig. However, this looks like the wig that you put on when you're like, I want to feel fancy today. Like this is a wig that says something about like the way that you're going through the world. And so I'm going to give it a Working It because I think that this is a wig that she's like, I'm in virtual reality. I've always wanted to know, like my sister, what I would look like with some like really severe bangs. And so I'm just going to go for it. Can the hair be very, very dark? Let's do that too. Like, I feel like that's what I would use virtual reality for, is just changing my hairstyles constantly. Yeah. And so I think for what she's trying to achieve, which is pretending to be a superhero and also seeing what kind of hairstyle she can pull off, I think it's effective.
So you're looking at it more through the lens of the context on this one.
Yeah, I think the motivation of this wig and for this wig
okay,
makes a difference.
I would probably agree because it is virtual reality. So it's going to have an air of unbelievability to it. It's going to be a little more surreal. So I think it looks good as a wig, and I think it pulls off the super girl aspect of it to it. So I think I'll go Working It. It's very much a wig. Yeah, but it looks good in the context of what they were trying to do with the VR. So I'm going to say Working It.
Nice. I think our commenters look like they're agreeing. Jessica says, I like it, Working It, and hot. Danny says, Working It because it's supposed to be fake in the VR world, and I'm okay with it. And Angelica says, that wig is very Betty Page, and it really looks good on her. Paula B says, Working It. Anything goes in VR, obviously. So I think that there's been a consensus that she's working this particular look.
Yeah, I didn't know before we got on this live stream what I was going to think about the Super Alex wig, but I surprised myself with my answer.
Yeah, I think over the course of that episode, at first I was like, ooh, that's a wig. And then by like the middle, when she kind of like lost it, I was like, oh, you know what? I was enjoying the vibe of the wig.
She did take it off at one point.
Yeah, it just disappeared. And I was like, you know what? I was enjoying what the wig was bringing to the scene.
It became its own character. It was doing its own performance.
Yeah.
I think it did it pretty well. All right, so on to the next one. Okay. All right, this is
Oh,
this is a new still for the Melissa Benoist directorial debut for the show. So this we haven't seen the context for this one yet, but I figured I would put this in here because I believe that is some sort of hair extension / wig thing upon her head. So what are your thoughts?
It kind of looks like she's got like one of those like bumpets, but with like the hair attached to the back of it. And she just kind of shoved it on there like 5 minutes before they like shot the scene. And somebody was like, hey, it's kind of noticeable. And she's like, that's fine. It's fine. I'm Lena Luthor. I can wear whatever I want. And you can, but should you? With great power, Lena, does come great responsibility. I also don't understand the why and the how of like, why is this necessary? How is it happening?
Well, to be fair, we don't know.
This is
not something we know yet. We will know on Sunday. I do like the Luthorian purple dress, but that's not what we're here to analyze. We are here solely focusing on the wigs and the hair extensions. This is going to get a Wiggy for me. I don't know the context, but you don't need that extra stuff in the back, Lena. You just don't.
No, that's getting a Wiggy from me too. I don't know why she added some like extensions on the back there, but it's looking weird. I don't know, that clocks for me as a wig almost automatically. Like something's happening, something's extra is going on her head, and I don't know what its motivations are, and I don't trust it.
Is it boardroom or ballroom though?
Oh, I mean, it is. That's a good question. I think it's a ballroom. I think she's bringing it into a boardroom environment where it doesn't belong.
I would think it would be a ballroom myself.
Yeah.
So, what's the chat say?
Let's see. Rachel says, Lena in a bump it. Amber says, looking real anime here. Leslie says, what is on top of her head? Danny wonders, oh no, how do you make Katie McGraw look bad? Yet here we are. Rachel says, Morticia Adams Lena. And also somebody else, I think, said, Jessica said, what is happening? This looks like a weird late 90s thing going on here. Donna says, looks like 70s Annette Funicello.
So we've got some different time periods that we're working with here.
Mike Lumo says, put a black outfit on, and we've got Morticia Adams, which I agree, actually. Like, the makeup is really dramatic. The hair seems darker than normal. And with the extra, I don't know what's happening. It just does seem like somebody should be snapping and, like, coming in. Maybe that'll be Eve. She'll just, like, walk in the background and be like, do-do-do-do, and then disappear.
Yeah, I wonder if that plays into the context of the scene. Is she going to be more evil in the scene? I don't know.
Maybe.
All right, so we're going to move on. I think I have one more Lena wig in here, and so this is not technically Lena. And I'm sorry for the really terrible screen cap. I had to yank this one off YouTube because I couldn't get a screen cap otherwise. So this is actually Lena Luthor's mother, as played by Katie McGrath. So I tried to get it as much as I could so you could see like the bangs and everything. But what are your thoughts on this?
You know what? I don't hate it. I feel like, if Lena at any point goes through like a hippie phase where she wants to like get in touch with the earth and like, I don't know, this is like not a terrible look for her. I don't hate it. I mean, it's blurry and it's far away, but I kind of, the softer color, the waves, I don't know, I'm into it. I'm going to give it a Workin It.
Yeah, I'm going to say Workin It here because I think most of the shots that we had with this wig were long shots, long distance. We were far away from it. So I think and the fact that like her hair was like moving in the action, like she's picking Lena up and she's kind of playing with Lena. So the action with the wig helps because you don't stare at it as static,
immovable.
Yes. So it sort of has an action vibe to it, and it did pretty well, I think, to move with her. So I'm going to say Workin It on this one.
Nice. Angelica says, that one didn't look so bad, and it's seen from a distance. Amber says, Lena at Lilith Fair, which, yes, that's exactly the vibe that she would, like a floral dress, like a floor-length floral dress, and like just like beachy hair. Like, I don't care. When's the last time I watched? Doesn't matter. And Jessica says, not bad, actually. Donna says, is this what they envision for a wee Irish lass? And I believe, yes, it is.
Yeah. So, all right. So, mostly positive on this one. Most Workin It on the Lena Luthor mother wig.
Nice.
All right. So we're gonna get back into Red Daughter a little bit, but this more specifically looking at Lex Luthor on this. We're really looking at Lex in these shots. So the Lex Luthor wig in this episode. What are your thoughts, Morgan?
I mean, it does look like there's just something that was plopped on top of his head. However, it is not the worst wig I've seen, certainly on a male in the Arrowverse. I feel like just by the low standards set by Oliver Queen, I might give this one a Workin It. I might give this one a thumbs up, because I feel like also like, you know, he doesn't have hair, but he wants it so much. Like, I'm gonna give this to you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Workin It on this one. It actually semi looks like real hair, and it blends in pretty well. Like, if I saw him on the street, I might not know that that was a wig. So I'm gonna go Workin It for Lex. Lex has traditionally been a character who does dabble in wigs, because he's usually depicted as bald, and so I would assume that he has a lot of experience wearing toupees and wigs. So I think he's done a good job. A better choice for him than, say, Red Daughter there. But, but I think I'm going to give Lex a Workin It on this one.
Nice. So Rachel says Lex has too much forehead, which is possibly true. Yes, the wig does start far back on the hair. Jessica says, I think this is one of Oliver's wigs, actually. Paula, God bless you, says this wig on Lex was a pretty bald move.
Oh. Solid pun.
Solid pun. Don't think anyone's topping that.
All right, so I think I might have put one more look at Lex in here. Okay, so from this angle, does that change?
Does it change? That's a good question. It does seem more shellacked from this angle. Like, I feel like if there was a strong breeze in wherever the scene is, his hair would not move. And that does seem a little wig-like to me. I think that maybe he's using a little too much product in the wig now. However, I still think, like, listen, I still think he's chasing his bliss, and so I'm giving him a Workin It.
From this angle, it does look a little too noticeably a wig. So I'm going to go Wiggy on this angle.
That's fair.
Yeah. Does it change for anybody in the chat?
Riley says he kind of looks like Nate from Legends of Tomorrow, and it scares me. Oh yeah, that is. So recently, the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, we did a special episode where we had my friend Sarah come on. We had her drink a little bit, responsibly, and then we had her watch the episode, and then we had her tell us what she thought was going on, having that she had seen no episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, and she exclusively referred to Nate as high hair. And so I can see it now.
That is so funny. Well, I don't watch the show. I only listen to the podcast, so I would not know what that high hair looks like, but I'll trust you on that one. But yeah, Lex definitely has some high hair in this one.
Yeah.
All right. So we're getting into some Brainiac 5 here.
Oh,
so
boy.
this is OG Brainiac 5 look. Just focusing on the wig. What are your thoughts, Morgan?
I mean, it's very wiggy. It looks soft. I will say that. It looks kind of like something that you would stuff a pillow cushion with. That's just kind of flowing out the back of his hair. But it doesn't look like hair to me. I don't know what it looks like, but hair is not the first thing that comes to mind. And so I'm going to give this a Wiggy.
Does it change your answer if you think about the fact that he is like half robot?
Yeah, it might. And yet I still can't look away. It's like it's mesmerized me. Oh God, it's there's so much happening. No, I gotta stay with Wiggy.
I'm troubled by this one. I'm conflicted. Because on the one hand, it looks very, combed. It looks very styled. So I appreciate that about it. But it's definitely too much wig. So yeah. I think I'm going to go Wiggy on this one.
Yeah. I think the chat is agreeing with me, or maybe not. I don't know. I've seen some people who say it looks pretty good. Riley says Doc from Back to the Future. Anyone? Which,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, where Brainy's going. Rachel said it looks better in later episodes. Paula says it's alien here, so anything goes. Working it. Jessica says that poof is extreme. And Riley says, what if this is trendy in the dark ages? Who knows?
That's true.
From all kinds of time. So
this might be future, like a future look. This might be what they do in the future with their hair.
It could be. Angelica points out he's cybernetic, so I don't mind it. And Brady's hair are like multiple Wi-Fi antennas. So yeah, I like it. I mean, that's how he gets such good reception. So,
yeah, it makes sense to me. All right. Well, some mixed thoughts on Brainy's look, but I think because good points all around. All right, so this is a different Brainiac 5 wig. Is this a better look, do you think, than the OG look? And we're just focusing on the wig here. We're not looking at the suit or the green skin. We're looking solely at the wig.
Solely at the wig, I think it is better because it looks like hair to me. I recognize it as hair. It's kind of a weird color, but that's fine. I'm gonna give him a Workin It. I feel like he brushed it out a little bit. He like changed his hairstyle. He was like, I'm changing things up. I'm a different kind of Brainiac now. My hair is gonna be long and luxurious. Let's get it shoulder length, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's better, but it's still really wiggy. And I understand, like, they can't just dye Jesse's hair blonde every time they need him to go into this version of Brainy. So that he's gonna have. I mean, it's necessary that he wear the wig, but it's too wiggy for me.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of a Witcher vibe to it, almost. Like
I can see that.
Toss a coin to your Brainy. The chat says, let's see. Paula says Workin It. Amber says Brainiac the Bishonen is working it. So it does kind of have a little bit of an anime character vibe to it. I agree. He looks like a beautiful anime character. That's it's not a bad look to have. Riley says, I think it looks comic book accurate, but kind of looks like a young Dumbledore or that dude from Lord of the Rings, which is fair also. And Angelica says that's John Brainy Wick. So that's Brainy's John Wick look.
I think Brainy would take that as a compliment. He does love Keanu Reeves. Yes. All right. So I think that's going to do it for Brainy. So we're going into the villain category here. So we're starting with Indigo, known mostly for hand acting, her great hand acting.
Unfortunately, her best features are not in this photo. Her hands.
So we're going to focus solely on the wig. We've got a couple of different angles, so it may change your answer depending on the angle. But on this one, what are your thoughts?
Okay, on this one, I like the color. I like the weird sort of texture on one side. I feel like if you're going to go weird, you should go really weird, and I respect that. What I don't like is like that the left side looks like it's just like slowly like leaving her body. and like doesn't want to quite be on her face. And so for that reason and that reason only, I have to give it a Wiggy. But I'm sorry, you look great. You look great, Indigo.
Yeah, this is also one of those like cybernetic characters who it wouldn't make sense that she would have natural hair. So I guess in context, she would always have some sort of fake wiggy hair, but yeah, it's just too much of a wig. I'm gonna go Wiggy on this one.
Yeah. So the chat, Rachel said Laura Vandervoort deserved better.
I agree.
Riley says alien American girl doll. That's it. So yeah, not the best one. Jess says kind of like an Elsa wig. Does Indigo want to build a snowman?
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that Laura Vandervoort did such a good job portraying the character, but they did not give her a great wig.
No,
I think they could have done a little better on the wig. All right, so in this angle, you get to see a little more of like the braid side of her hair. So does this change your answer at all?
It does a little bit, and I don't know if that's because the hand acting is involved in this photo and it's skewing my perspective. Like maybe I can't be objective when the hand acting is on display. I'm like, oh my God, she's a real maverick. I do think that like for like a alien species, it's like kind of a villain. Like the braids are cool and they look really neat the way that they are like kind of like woven up her head and like kind of down her back, and like I think those look cooler than the one side of her hair that looked like it was fleeing her body. So I'm gonna give this one a Workin It.
I think the braids look like braids, so that seems more natural to me. So I think I'm gonna go Workin It here, and it's not because there are two Supergirls in the shot fighting each other. That's not playing into my decision at all.
No,
neither is the fantastic hand acting. I think it's because the braids look a little more natural. So I'm gonna go Workin It on this one.
Nice. So the chat says, Rachel says, does someone on this show have something against the Kaluans getting good haircuts until Brainy's new wig? Paula says, this angle is Workin It for me. Rachel says, also the braids remind me of wires, which I think is a cool way to look at it. And let's see what else. Jess said that's more braiding than I remember. And Angelica wonders, is Indigo a strawberry blonde?
Maybe more strawberry than blonde, but maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, I think the angles matter on this one, I think. All right, so another Supergirl villain from season 1 and 3. I think she was only in season 1 and season 3. I'm trying to think. Livewire, one of the best villains / frenemies the show has ever had. Personal favorite of Supergirl Radio. R.I.P. Livewire.
Well, I mean, honestly, can I give this anything other than a Workin It? I mean, Livewire, R.I.P. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag please come back. I like that. Listen, it's a wig, and we all know it's a wig, but she is crushing that wig. She is embodying that wig. The wig is not wearing her. She is wearing that wig, which has not been the case with a lot of these wigs. A lot of those wigs have been wearing the person. I think it's really at one with her whole vibe. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool. It's like Livewire herself.
I'm going to be very curious if your answer stays the same in the different versions of the Livewire wig. The Livewire wig will change a little bit because Livewire's look, Leslie's look, did change a little bit more. Like as the crazier she got, it did progress to have a different look. So in this episode, this was her introductory episode when she did become Livewire, and because of that, I think, for the purpose of the context of the character arc that she went through in this, where she was struck by lightning and she sort of became this character who had all of these electrical powers and all that kind of stuff, it sort of makes sense that her hair would look like she had been electrocuted. So I think the wig works for the context of this episode. So I agree that it is she's working it in terms of it looks natural for her to have. Even though it is noticeably a wig, she's making it work. So I'm going to give this a Workin It.
Nice. I think our chat seems to be agreeing. Jessica says, Working It. She's dealing with static all day, so it has to be crazy.
That's a fair point.
Leslie says, R.I.P. Livewire. Riley says, Livewire works, but it looks like scary witch who lures children. Is that her wig's motivation? I think probably it is. Angelica says, I didn't mind that wig, and it's electrifying.
Solid puns in the chat.
So many solid. I like this one though. Riley says this wig will look the best because it's on a CBS budget and not CW's.
That's fair.
Which is very true. Very true. Very fair.
All right. So this is the next Livewire look in World's Finest when Supergirl teams up with the Flash against the Livewire and Silver Banshee.
What episode was this? Do you remember?
117, I think.
What happened?
Season 1.
She lost all her volume. She looks very scary. She kind of looks a little bit like a mad Marilyn Manson. I feel like the volume of the hair gave her a little bit of a playful vibe, and with it straightened, like she straightened it, and it's not the same. And it also, unfortunately, and I love Livewire. At this point in her progression, the wig has begun to wear her, and she has lost her mastery over the wig. So I'm giving this one a Wiggy.
This one does change it for me. This is Wiggy all the way, and it's maybe there's context here. She does team up with Silver Banshee, and they do have to develop Silver Banshee's persona and her look. So maybe she was trying to prove something to Silver Banshee. I don't know. But I do not like this one as much as I do her introductory episode. So I'm going to go Wiggy on this one.
No, the chat I think mostly agrees with us. Riley said, "Did this shock anybody else?" Nope. Ho ho ho! Amber said, "More like limp wire."
So many good times.
So good. Jessica says, "Wasn't she in hiding at this point? Maybe she was trying to tame it."
Oh, maybe she was
character motivation for the wig.
Yeah, maybe she was trying something different so nobody would notice it was her. Maybe if that was the case, though, she maybe should have changed her wardrobe, because I think she's wearing the same kind of clothes.
Angelica points out that Livewire has been in prison, remember? So she doesn't have access to any hair products or a stylist. Always important to remember.
It's a good point.
I mean, this is what a lot of us are going to come out of quarantine looking like, so we shouldn't be judging anymore.
We should really have a lot all for this.
I'm gonna be that pale, and my hair's gonna look like that. I'm gonna burn in the sun.
All right, so this is a little bit different wig here. This was not necessarily a Livewire look. This is a Leslie Willis / Roseanne. That was her name tag in the scene, portraying a Roseanne type waitress. So does this context change things for you, Morgan?
So you know what? I think that this is a good mix between the original Livewire, which was like really out there and like really wanted people to see it. It was a wig that had character and like really wanted to be heard. And the second Livewire wig, which was like more demure, it had like kind of given up. It had kind of just fallen limp and given up. This is a softer Livewire. There's some soft curls. The color isn't quite so dramatic. It almost looks good with her complexion. Like she's kind of got it all going together. Right now, she kind of looks like she could be a zombie in a romantic comedy. And so for that reason, I'm giving her a Working It.
I like the almost crimps that she's got in there. I think that makes her stand out in this wig, and I think it looks more fitting in the scene that she's in this kind of this average, everyday, sort of normal diner, and she's trying to hide out from Rain. That's the context of the scene, is that Rain has been going around killing people, and so she's trying to blend in with the normies, the people who do not have electrical power running through their fingers. So she's trying to blend in with the average national city citizen, and I think she's doing a pretty good job. And it looks fairly normal. It's noticeably a wig, but I think she's working it. So nice. I'm gonna go Working It.
Leslie and Laura both said Working It. Angelica says that's a cute look, kind of like a 50s diner waitress. Riley says, "Oh gosh, now that you said that, she looks like the lead from iZombie," which is probably what I was thinking of, honestly, because she kind of does have that iZombie vibe.
I see it.
Paula says, "This is making me notice how much of a character arc the Wigs had on their own, going along with Leslie on her journey." Yeah, she really had. I mean, you can just kind of tell where she is emotionally from the wig. Just kind of like Alex's sad wig that was like just slopping off of her head. Like, oh, I gave up.
Sometimes I don't think they really put a lot of thought into the wigs, but maybe they do.
But maybe they do. They were like, what does this wig need to say about her emotional state? Make it sadder.
We're gonna have to try to interview some hairstylists on the show, and this will be good research for
we can ask them
whenever we do that.
What the each wig's emotional arc was.
Yeah, we all came to this for the fun ripping on the bad wigs, but really there's a deeper thing here that we're discovering. So I appreciate that. All right, so this is a little bit different take on the same episode in Fort Roz in season 3. So here I want us to pay attention to two things.
Yes. 1,
Livewire's wig.
Yeah.
2, Rain's hair extension.
Yes, both of those things. Okay. So, is there a middle ground that I can give this wig? Because I feel like this wig is not having the time of its life like the first wig. It's not settled into a domestic life like the last wig. It's not quite given up on life itself like the middle wig. It's kind of like in a fight for its life now. Things have gone wrong. The gentle curls have unfurled into just frizz, which is kind of like what happens to me in the summer. So I feel like I can't judge it too hard, but it does look like a wig, and it does have so much volume on the top crown of her head that it looks like it might shoot off at any moment. So if I only have the two options, I unfortunately have to go Wiggy on this one. But I feel like there are circumstances to this.
Well, they are in space. Does that make a difference?
It maybe the zero gravity is just taking the wig off of her head.
Yeah, I think context-wise, that might make a difference. But yeah, I think for Livewire, I'm going to say Wiggy on this one. Now,
Rain... I mean, it's very extension-y. It does kind of look like it was clipped onto the back of her head. But it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing. It's like she's like going out for a night on the town, like might go to a bar, might kill some people. Who knows? It's Rain. It's Rain's day. So I'm giving her a Workin It.
Even with the discoloration of the hair, it doesn't even match.
Listen, it's Rain's day, okay?
I mean, would you tell Rain to her face that her extension looked bad? I don't know that you would.
No.
But I never noticed this. To be honest, I never noticed this until I was going through trying to find these examples of the wigs.
It's very different.
But it's so noticeable. And I guess maybe with Rain, because she had a lot of scenes in the dark and sort of darker scenes. So
yeah,
you can't really tell. But when you look at it like this, with all that light on it, that's so wiggy. I can't justify that. I would never say that to Rain's face.
No,
but it's definitely wiggy.
So the chat says about Livewire's look. Livewire looks all charged up in this scene. So about Rain's look, Riley says Rain's hair extension is meh, but Odette's hand acting is stellar.
That's a good point.
I agree. And then Leslie just says Rain's hair doesn't match, haha, which is very true.
All right, so I just wanted to make sure we talked about both of the elements in the show.
Yeah, lots of wigs in this one. Whoa. Forgot about you, Benji. Oh, the missing member of Kiss has showed up to the chat.
Okay, so let's get into Silver Banshee here. What are your thoughts on this wig? Because there's a lot going on with this one.
There's so much going on. If I saw this person walking towards me, I would run in the other direction, because so scary. Maybe they might have went too far with her look. You know what? I will say, with all that said, nice blending of the color, decent wig. Not too wiggy. Doesn't look like it's trying to eject itself off of her head. And believe me, if any wig had an excuse, it would be this one.
Yes.
She's scary looking, and I wouldn't want to be there. I wouldn't want to be along for that ride. But that wig is like, you know what? A commitment is a commitment. let's softly curl me, and I'm gonna do my job. So I'm giving her a Working It.
Yeah, it's funny because if you remove the makeup and maybe even the costume, which are not great, although comic book accurate mostly, the wig is not that bad.
Yeah.
I think it looks like somebody's like aging gracefully. And so I appreciate that. And I like the curls and I think it blends together. So I didn't think I was going to say this when we started this that I would say that Banshee's wig was Working It, but I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I think the chat is mostly agreeing with us. Paula says Working It. Amber says, I appreciate the color coordination, which is nice. Riley says, I feel like this wig looked good, but me imagining her getting ready to fight was hilarious. Riley says Silver Fox or Silver Banshee. And Paula says, Working It. This wig has layers, it has personality, and it fits with the character.
Yeah. Surprising judgment call on Silver Banshee here. I'm really surprised by all of us. Well done.
Angelica says she looks like she's going to a Norwegian black metal concert.
She'd fit right in, I guess.
Amazing. Yeah.
All right. So this is a villain you probably forgot about because I forgot about her.
Sure did.
This is Scorcher from season 2. And what do you think about this wig?
Remember earlier when somebody said a wig looked like Black Widow cosplay? This wig is that, and I've seen better Black Widow cosplay wigs definitely on Instagram. It looks very fake. Also, I mean, it's cut sort of like from the back to the front, kind of like a reverse mullet, and I don't understand that. So I'm giving this one a Wiggy.
This is too much wig for me. So I'm going to go Wiggy all the way on this one. It doesn't look natural at all. I like the curls, but it's too wiggy.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely too wiggy. Chat says, Amber says, discard it Black Widow wig. Paula says, I remember her. This was super wiggy. Leslie says, Working It. Leslie likes it.
Okay. All right.
Riley says, for a second, I thought it was Alex Danvers. And if it were, it might have been her best. Pretty good.
It does possibly change the context if it's on a different character.
That's true. Yeah. This would be a fair to medium Alex Danvers wig.
All right. So I think I have another redhead in the next one. So this is Maxima. So this I think is definitely a wig. Yes. So thoughts?
I mean, it's not the wiggiest wig we've seen. It does kind of look natural. It also kind of has that. I feel like this wig is a problem for me because it's half and half where it looks natural at some angles when I look at it, and from some angles it doesn't, which has gotten me into a weird wig uncanny valley. And I hate that. It's why I can't watch the Polar Express, and so I'm giving this one a Wiggy.
Yeah, I like the attention to comic book detail. She's immediately recognizable as Maxima. I'm trying to not put the fact that she was pretty forgettable as a villain because they didn't have her do anything. So I'm trying to only focus on the wig aspect here. I appreciate the nod to Maxima's look, but this is a Wiggy for me.
Yeah, the chat says Laura and Rachel both say Wiggy. Leslie says Working It. Riley says redheaded Power Girl. Seriously, what's with the boob window? Good questions. All good questions.
Definitely does resemble Power Girl a little bit there. All right, so let's get into the Arrowverse. We've kind of touched on the Supergirl wigs. Let's get to the rest of the Arrowverse. So we're going to start with probably the character who has the most debatable wigs of the Arrowverse, Mr. Oliver Queen, R.I.P. Okay. So Morgan, let's start with this one. This is, I believe, on Island, Oliver Queen.
Yeah. So this looks like while on the island, he killed a small animal and was like, "You I shall make into a wig," and then he shoved it onto his head. It's really bad. It's very, very quite bad. So I'm giving this a Wiggy.
Oh, I'm going to take so much heat for this.
Rebecca?
I think...
Rebecca, no.
I think that it looks like someone who has been living on an island for a while and could not get a haircut. I think in the context of the character's journey, I think it's Workin It.
Okay.
It's a hot take, but I think
it is a very hot take. So the chat says, "Oh no," says Rachel when that went up. Leslie says, "Wiggy." Paula says, "Fun fact: the current costume supervisor also works or worked for Riverdale, so maybe that's why there's so many similarities. I guess with people who are pointing out that they look like some of the wigs look like characters for Riverdale." So Paula also says, "This is Wiggy, but it's a classic Wiggy, and I hold respect for it." So yeah, I mean, respect in all ways for the father of all bad wigs, Oliver Queen. May we never forget him or whatever was ever happening on top of his head.
All right, so let's go into the next Oliver look.
Oh no. No, why? So the hat makes it worse because it looks like
100%.
Because I believe in my heart of hearts that the hair is just glued into the hat, and that if he were to take off the hat, the hair would come with it, and that's not something I want to think about, really. That's not something I want to think about at all. Oh God!
So, are you going to give this a Wiggy? I assume
it's the highest of Wiggies.
This does look like the hair is attached to the hat. I am giving this a full Wiggy. This one does not look right at all. And also, who wears their hat like that? It's a little too high on the head.
It's too high because it's so stuffed filled with hair.
It is very Wiggy. I can't give it anything but that.
Okay, so the chat says, "Oh, Riley says, wig father, let's strike a deal." That's that's what I'm gonna call Oliver from now on, is the wig father. Paula says, Uber Wiggy is this one. She also says, hats off to this Wiggy. Oh man, Leslie says the hat does make it worse. It's a wig hat.
It is, I think.
And Riley says it kind of looks like a really bad David Spade cosplay, which I can also see.
And I think Jessica Olsen says he's hiding his revenge list in his hat. That would make sense, actually.
Maybe failed this wig.
Does that change the context? If the list is up there, maybe he needed to put the list in the hat.
It's true.
Yeah, this might be the wiggiest of all of them. So, all right, we've got some more Oliver in here. Don't worry. All right, so this is this is pre-Island Oliver. This is when he was saying goodbye to Laurel. So try not to let that context get in the way, because I'm definitely going to have to push that deep within my soul. So Morgan, what are your thoughts on this wig?
It looks like he's stolen somebody else's hair and then put it on atop his head, and that disturbs me. To the person who said that, like, the one Supergirl wig master used to work on or the clothing supervisor used to work on Riverdale, he kind of looks like you lean back and it's like, Archie, is that you? I don't like it. Wiggy.
Oh, this is a tough one. Because it's definitely a wig. You can definitely tell that's not his natural hair.
No.
But he looks normal. It's normal-ish. Like, he looks like maybe that could be his hair. I might have to go Workin It on this one. He was a terrible jerk to Laurel, pretty much up until she died. So I don't have a lot of good thoughts about pre-Island Oliver, but I might have to say Workin It here.
That's fair. So Jessica says he looks so happy though. So maybe on your side. Riley did say, "Wig father, why?" with a bunch of question marks. Rachel says, "I didn't recognize him at first." Riley wonders, how old is he supposed to be in this picture? Wig father looks like a college frat boy.
Yeah.
And Amanda says he definitely looks like Archie, but not orange Kool-Aid red. So that's good. Yeah, he's kind of like a more natural Archie. Like before things really turned for him on the island.
Yeah, once he got to the island, the hair, it didn't look back. But yeah, okay, so that's pre-island Oliver. All right, so
okay,
this is a little bit different wig choice here. So what are your thoughts on this one?
You know what? I think it's bad, but I don't hate it. I don't know why. It kind of looks like he could be on the cover of like a Harlequin romance book. Like he kind of looks like he's thoughtful off in the distance, and his hair has got a little bit of that Farrah Fawcett flip, which I don't understand personally. And why is it so short in the front and then long in the back? It looks like it might be a low-key mullet, but like a classy kind. And for pulling off the classy mullet, I give you a Working It.
I think I'm going to go Working It on this one. I think it looks like normal hair, and I think, if I'm going to be honest, I think he looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to go Working on this one. A surprisingly good Oliver Queen wig.
Not his worst look, not by far. So Paula says Working It, and Rachel says it's the season 4 Jesse Rath look, which, yeah, it kind
of. Sorry about that. I had to take a little coffee break. Yeah, I think that's going to get a Working It mostly, I think. I don't think people hated this one as much as some of the other ones. All right, so this is a different Arrow character. I believe this is China White. I think as we go through these wigs on Arrow, I'm always curious if there was one blonde wig and they just passed it around.
It feels right.
We'll see if that theory holds up. But what are your thoughts on this wig?
It doesn't look natural. It looks very wiggy. I'm gonna have to give this one a wiggy, like automatically, just because if you look at the bottom of the wig, like here, there's just like these really strange strands that seem like they're disconnected from the rest of the wig. I don't know. It just looks like the bottom part of her hair is either not woven in correctly with the top, or like it's trying to like slide down her and escape.
Yeah, this is gonna be a wiggy for me. She doesn't look bad, but it's such a wig. It is just too much wig for me. So I'm gonna go wiggy on this one.
Riley says no, don't even care who this is, but no. And Angelica says they have a very tight wig budget.
Yeah, I think they had to really do what they could with the wigs on Arrow. All right, so this is Goth Felicity Smoke.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, honey. What's going on in the front of her head? Because it doesn't look like it looks like I can see her regular hair, and then like the wig starts back further, or like I'm seeing the wig net. It's not like it's not blended in the front. It's like
I can see that
coming over top of her regular hair, which is like pushed back. Like does this wig have layers? I don't know. It's getting a wiggy. It's bad.
Yeah, I appreciate the look that they're going for with this, because they're trying to show a little bit different side of Felicity, and really trying to make the character have a little depth to her. But and I appreciate the purple. Why am I blanking on the streaks, the purple streaks in her hair?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's too wiggy. I'm gonna give it a wiggy.
It's pretty bad. The chat says, Paula says, this wiggy reminds me of the Halloween episode of The Simpsons where there's an evil wig attacking people. Riley says it fits the bad hair phase everybody has, but also looks like an emo Ava Sharp. Abby says it's like she used too much dry shampoo for days. And Leslie says that wig isn't combined. And Rachel says that's a quarantine look, which I agree. All of which good comments. Very, very bad wig.
I appreciate that we're all putting a lot of thought into this. It's not just, that looks like trash. It's, we're being real thoughtful about it. All right. I mean, we can say it's trash and then be thoughtful about it. Just, be nice. All right. So this is the Canary.
Some wig.
Some people say the Black Canary, but this is not the Black Canary. This is Sarah Lance, the Canary. So what are your thoughts? I know you're a big Sarah Lance fan. So what are your thoughts on this wig here?
Love me some Sarah Lance from the bottom of my soul. Love her. She is working everything always. However, she has blonde hair. Why is she wearing a wig? Like, she's not protecting her identity if the hair underneath of the wig is just a slightly different color in the hair on top. And also, it looks very fake. So I'm unfortunately got to give my girl Sarah a wiggy.
Yeah, they had this problem with the Lance sisters big time on Arrow, because eventually, and we'll talk about it when we get to the Laurel aspect of it, but there was eventually, I think, a decision that was made with these wigs that we'll get to, which I think was the right choice. But yeah, this one's going to get a wiggy from me. I don't understand. Maybe it's because like they wanted it to be like fuller or something. Maybe they wanted her to have more volume. But
like, I don't understand. Like, I watched Legends of Tomorrow. Her natural hair, quite stunning. Why, if it's the same color, would you put a wig on top?
I don't understand it. So I'm going to go wiggy on the Canary.
So Danny says, why did they give her a blonde wig when she's blonde already? Riley says, 99% sure this is the wig the other lady wore that looked wiggy.
Yeah, I think that China White wig just got passed down. Or maybe the Canary wig got passed around. I think it's the same. It might be the same wig.
It could be.
That's my conspiracy theory, and I'm sticking to it.
Like the Sisterhood of the Traveling Wig. Paula says, this is a wig you get at a dollar store when you forgot that Halloween party was tonight. Oh, man. Yeah, it's really rough. Riley also says, you can see her natural hair by her neckline, which is also true.
Yeah. So this is a questionable wig that we may be stuck with for a little bit. All right. So do we think it's the same wig? Like, I think it's the same wig.
I think it literally is the sisterhood, because they're sisters, of the traveling wig. I think that she, like, when she died, in her will, it's like Laurel's going through it. She's crying. She's like, "Oh, my sister," and then it's like, "To Laurel, I bequeath my dirty wig. It's not a great wig, but you need it to fight crime." And Laurel's like, "Why?" But it was her sister's dying wish, so she puts it on.
She did want to honor her sister at this point, but even when Laurel was my favorite character on Arrow, but even when she wore the wig, it was still bad. So I was not a fan of it either. Although it sort of made more sense for Laurel, because she didn't exactly, but she did at some point become a little blonder, and by the end of season 3 they just dropped the wig altogether. So Laurel by the end of season 3 was like, I'm just gonna fight crime in my own hair, and it looks so much better. Her Black Canary looks so much better at that point. So they eventually, I think, made the right decision to just drop the wigs altogether, but up until then it was a little rough. So even though Laurel was my favorite character on Arrow, her Black Canary wig is getting a wiggy from me.
Angelica says, it's the same wig. But Rachel says, literal sisterhood. Paula says, one wig to rule them all. Which I don't think we're going to top. So it really is like the one true wig.
Yeah, Riley makes a good point. It says, I'm concerned because if that's the same wig, then Laurel scraped the blood out of it. Yeah, I mean, Sarah probably was fighting a lot of bad guys in that wig and probably had some real scuffles.
Yeah.
I guess you have to wash a wig.
Yeah.
Just like you, I don't know.
Like I guess I got this wig and now I have to wash it and put it on my head. Fight crime.
The mundane aspects of being a superhero. All right, so this is another Laurel wig. I think this is Black Siren. So she's got the short black-haired bob. What are your thoughts?
It looks like a helmet of hair is my problem with it. I don't dislike the look. I think this could be a strong Katie Cassidy style if she wanted to adopt it. But as a wig, it does look way too shellacked and wiggy. Like every piece is exactly in place. And it gives me a little bit of a helmet hair vibe. So I'm gonna give it a wiggy.
I'm gonna disagree. I think this looks fairly natural for her. I think it suits her look, and I think I probably maybe wouldn't have noticed it was a wig unless I knew who she was prior to wearing the wig. So I'm gonna say Workin It in this one. I think she looks good.
Nice. Chat says, Riley says, soccer mom Laurel. Amanda says, the bob looks good on Laurel. And Angelica says, yikes, what is that? So really the spectrum on this look.
Highly debatable, this one. All right. So now we've left Arrow. We're going into Batwoman. So clearly Batwoman is a character who does wear a wig. And I think the wig theoretically actually makes a lot of sense with the secret identity. Nobody is going to know that Kate Kane is Batwoman because Kate Kane, that's hard to say that. Kate Kane. Like Katie Kane. Nobody's going to know that Kate Kane is Batwoman because she doesn't have all that red hair. So in terms of the secret identity, I think it actually serves a great function. But what do you think about its actual aesthetic?
So I have my issues with this wig. Just a fun fact, I have almost caught up on Batwoman, except for the most recent episode, which I have not yet watched. So I'm now current with Batwoman. I like Batwoman a lot. I don't like this wig. I am mad at this wig. And because if you're fighting crime, you know what you don't want probably is a lot of hair in your face. And yet the wig specifically puts one long piece across her cowl so that it directly goes into her eye. What is the use of that? Kate, come on. And this is why she should tell Mary the secret, because Mary would fix that. Is what I'm saying. Mary would fix that right up. I am giving this the wiggiest of wiggies. It could not look. It also if your whole thing is I want to throw people off the scent. I want people to think I'm a redhead, even though here I am, Kate Kane, not a redhead. You probably don't want to go with fire engine red, which is not a natural color for anyone. And so people probably also, it looks exactly like a wig. So people are going to be like, that's a wig. Not sure that's what she walks around with all the time. I think maybe she should have put some more thought into the wig aspect of her costume.
You make a really strong case. I was going to maybe embrace the wig. But now that I'm thinking about her fighting crime in this, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Bad guys are going to grab that long hair.
Exactly.
And start tugging on it, which I don't know about you, but if somebody was to tug my hair and pull it really hard, that would incapacitate me. I don't know if that's part of her bat training.
She's hair. She can withstand hair pulling.
So I don't know. That sort of brings it down for me. I sort of like the hair going across the cowl. I think it looks good, but functionally, maybe not the smartest choice. I'm torn.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I'm
gonna get bothering me.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go Wiggy on this one too.
Yeah. So the chat says, Riley says she looks like strawberry shortcake, and it's not okay. Amber says, holy wig. So Paula says, I see where you're coming from, Rebecca. I'm personally still not used to it and find it super distracting in scenes. I'm giving this a wiggy, which may at some point be a Workin It. Leslie said, what's funny is that Kate often takes the thing off.
Yeah, it's weird. A lot of the scenes in the Crisis crossover, she didn't even bother to leave the wig on. I don't even think Kate likes the wig.
Yeah, I know. Abby says, I think it looks better in the dark streets of Gotham, but overall, it's a bit Ronald McDonald. which I also agree with.
Yeah, I like that she looks like Batwoman from the comics, but I don't know that they made that work. So I think it's fair to say this could be Wiggy. All right. So we're gonna go over to the Flash now.
Okay.
So we got Killer Frost. Now Killer Frost has gone through several different looks, but I chose this one because this was a good look at this wig. So based on this image that we're looking at right here, what are your thoughts on the Killer Frost wig?
I don't hate the Killer Frost wig. I think this one in particular isn't so bad. Like maybe it's the soft curls. Maybe I'm a sucker for the soft curls. It looks like, there's some layers in the hair. I can't see her hair underneath the wig like I could in that Felicity wig. So I think my standards have been lowered as we've been doing this. So I'm going to give this one a Workin It.
I'm gonna also say Workin It. It's interesting. This sort of looks like the Black Canary wig, but I don't think it's the Black Canary wig. I think it's definitely its own. It's its own wig. It's its own personality.
Of the wig lives on.
So, but I think it looks pretty natural. It looks. I mean, I don't know that I could necessarily tell that it was a wig if I didn't know that Caitlin didn't exactly look like that. And I think it looks nice. I mean, it looks good. The curly wavy parts of the hair look pretty natural. So I'm going to say Workin It for Killer Frost.
Nice. So the chat, I think, is agreeing with us. Jessica says, I think she's working it, unlike usually like her wigs. Amanda says, like it. Angelica says, it works for me. And Riley says, I think since Danielle has naturally long hair, I think it works. So yeah, I guess maybe if you're used to the actress with the long hair, when suddenly they show up with like a really long hair wig like Alex does sometimes, where it's like, hello, it's me. It's my luxurious hair. And you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you have a little bit expectation that gets met there. All right, so we're gonna move on.
Oh no,
to the Flash himself. This is Emo Barry. What are your thoughts on this? We've got some bang action happening with this one.
The wig is telling me of his sadness. And I get that. And also, like, maybe he wants to front a band. He might be in Fall Out Boy. I don't want to judge him. I don't want to judge his choices. But I'm judging his choices because it's a bad wig. It's such a bad wig. It reminds me of the wig from like Spider-Man 3 when which was not a good movie, when like Peter is like, I'm bad now, bop bop, and he like goes into a jazz club or something, and he's got the hair across, and he's like, I'm dangerous because I look like a boy band member, and this is the equivalent of that for Barry Allen, and it's not a good look, and I'm gonna give it a Wiggy.
Yeah, I get what they were trying to go for, and it does make him look different. I will say, if they were trying to, separate this version of Barry out from our Barry, our version of Barry, it accomplished its job. But it's not good. So I'm gonna say Wiggy on this one.
Rachel said, poor sad Barry. Paula says, this wig wants to wake up when September ends. Oh man.
That was so good.
Oh man. Amanda says, not only is the style awful, but it looks greasy and nasty. And Riley says, tell me why ain't nothing but a heartbreak.
So good. Yeah. So this one, it's a choice for sure.
It sure is.
This one is a choice. All right. So we've got, I believe this is Sherlock. In the versions of Harrison Wells, I believe this is the French Sherlock. So what do you think about this one?
It's not the worst wig I've seen. I think if I didn't know this fellow, I might think it was real hair. I might want to look a little closer, but I might be temporarily distracted. So I'm going to give him a Workin It.
Yeah, I think, this one is not as noticeable. It's a little chaotic. There's a lot going on with this one. It doesn't look like he's brushed his hair in a couple years, but
no, definitely not. But
it looks natural. And it's not too distracting. So I think I'm also going to say Workin It.
Jessica says Workin It on this one. So
Yeah,
this one wasn't very controversial, I don't think.
No, I think this is as far as some of the wigs in the Arrowverse, this is not too bad. Yeah, and it looks like Amber says it surprisingly works for his personality. It's a little bit more eccentric. Riley also says eccentric, but the real mystery is why CW thought Sherlock needed this. He was kind of a quirky guy, so I get it. All right, so we're getting into the Legends Wigs. Now, Morgan, I don't watch the show, so I'm going to need for you to explain things to me. What is this about? It looks like this is like Sarah Lance, like an alien version.
Yeah, so Sarah Lance became like a death witch or something. That was, I think, last season or the season before. And she is like kind of all powerful, and she's like fighting her friends and stuff like that. So this is her scary Sarah Lance look. And because she's supposed to look like one of those creepy dead dolls, I think I'm going to give her a Working It. It's not supposed to look, she doesn't look, it's not the best wig, especially in the front part, but it does go with her scary look.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe if you consider the context, maybe it works. But visually, I don't think it is very good. I'm gonna go Wiggy on this one.
It's fair. Amanda said this look would fit in on OG Charmed, like the one back in the 90s and 2000s, which I think
yeah, that's fair.
I would believe if they said that wig had been passed down from Charmed. Danny says, I'm okay with this wig. It fit with her story for the episode. And then Riley wants to know, is no one concerned that the wig that everybody's passing around is spreading lice?
So do we think this is still the Black Canary wig, just reshaped?
I don't know, because I don't think
recolored?
I don't know that it looks, I don't know, it could be. It could be recolored. It does look similar in its non-realness to the Black Canary wig. But I think by like making it a color that's not like a normal color, it kind of throws me off, where I'm like not looking for it to be realistic.
We really need to ask somebody involved with the hair department with the CW about the Black Canary wig. That's now a high priority on my list of things we need to do.
Definitely.
All right. So this, I'm also going to need some context about.
I have none for it. I don't know
if this a new episode.
Could have been tonight's episode. Could be an episode that's coming up. But I guess they're doing a Star Trek thing. This is hilarious. I don't know what Ava's got shellacked on top of her head. It's getting a real wiggy. It's not good, but it is very funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ava's wig, I mean, it looks good, at least. I mean, it's definitely a wig. And is that Sarah's normal hair, or do you think that's a wig? No,
that looks like Sarah's normal hair. I think she just has tied back.
Okay, all right. So we're just concentrating on Ava here. I'm gonna say she's working it.
Yeah. Okay. Riley says, Ava, honey. It is certainly a look that she's sporting, but like she's going for a very specific thing.
Yeah.
Which is, the character whose name I'm blanking on.
Spock, right?
Spock, yes. Yeah. That's what it is. Danny says it's not good, but it's very Legends, which is also true.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a little, I mean, I don't watch the show, so I can't make a judgment call on what it should like or what it's supposed to be trying to do. But I assume it'd be sort of more surreal. Like it's not supposed to be exactly real life is what I'm getting out of this. Yeah. But maybe they're going back in time and becoming the cast of the Star Trek series. I don't know. I'll have to wait until the Legends of Tomorrow podcast talks about it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna still go Working It for this one. All right, so I think this was mentioned in the chat. The emo Ava, is this the
yeah, that's the emo Ava wig. Trying to think what I think of. It's not the most unrealistic looking wig that we've seen. It doesn't look quite right. I think you could tell it's not her natural hair. But you know what? I'm going to give her a Workin It.
Yeah, I don't think it looks as noticeable. The part there is going everywhere. There's there's a lot going on in that part, but I think she's working it. I think it looks fairly natural. I don't think I would notice it if I didn't know that she wasn't wearing a wig. So I'm gonna go working it.
Nice. Riley wants to know, is John wearing a wig also? Good question. It does look very, his hair looks a little bit strange in the background there. I don't think so. Leslie says, working it. That part is natural looking. Danny says, I mean, it's no emo Felicity, but I'll take it. Plus, she was in mourning, working it.
So there's a little context there. All right. So I believe this is Stargirl from the Justice Society of America in Legends.
Oh,
is that correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man, did they waste the Justice Society of America in Legends? I forgot Stargirl even showed up, to be honest. Kat was so sad when they introduced Stargirl.
I know she loves Stargirl,
and then they wasted her so badly. Is this a wig?
I thought it was. Do you think it's her natural hair?
I mean, I think it's so. I'm gonna give her a Workin It because I think it's on a line where it could be either. So I think it looks somewhat natural. I had to question whether or not it was a wig.
So some people in the chat are saying don't think it's a wig. So maybe I was just judging because I don't watch the show, so I didn't know. I just assumed that it looked a little wiggy to me, but that could be her. If it is a wig, it looks great.
Yeah,
but if it's not, it also looks great. So I guess we'll have to leave this one up for debate.
Yeah, the wig watch remains undecided on this one.
So if you were just going to base it off on what her hair looks like, is she working it or is it too much looking like a wig?
No, I think she's working it. I like the curls. I think it's got a little dramatic sweep. I don't know. She's really going for it.
I think the fact that we can't tell if it's a wig or not, I think that means she's working it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wig or not to wig? That is the question from Riley in the chat.
Yeah, right. It seems like a lot of people weren't sure if that one was a wig. So
yeah, we don't know for sure, but I think she's working it. All right, so this one is definitely a wig.
Yeah, no, that's wiggy to the max, man. I don't know what style he was going for. He looks like maybe he was a member of the Monkees. I don't like it. It looks like it's shellacked onto him, and that it's a helmet that will protect his head.
So we should provide context for people who are maybe only listening to the audio version of this. This is Damien Darhk from Legends of Tomorrow, and I think this was, you'll have to correct me on this, Morgan. I think it was an episode based kind of around the No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I guess in that perspective, is it successful? Because isn't that kind of close to the way the hair that was it Javier Bardem had in that movie?
So. Yeah.
So
it looks like it.
Yeah. So for a homage perspective, he's working it. As hair that a human would have, it's wiggy.
I agree. The motivation for this wig nailed it, working it. In terms of visually, the way it looks, it's very wiggy. Not a big fan.
Jessica said, I think I blocked this one from my memory. Riley says, his Nora doll needs to call a stylist for him. Leslie said he was a secret agent man. And Angelica said, who put a mop on that poor man's head?
Well, as someone who is a big Laurel Lance fan, I think this is what Damien Darhk deserved. So I guess we will move on. All right. So I assume this is a Legends of Tomorrow episode. Is this correct? I was kind of doing some internet searches for Legends of Tomorrow plus wigs. And I encountered this Ray Palmer wig that sort of surrounded his face, a caveman-like. So what is the context here?
So I believe this is when he gets stuck in dinosaur time. So caveman-like is correct. You really nailed that one. So he's sort of in prehistoric times. And so I guess he doesn't have a way to shave. And so he just wrapped his face in what looks like a muffler full of hair and just went about his day. Now, I don't know if that doesn't look natural to me as what a beard or hair would look like. It looks very wiggy, so I'm going to give that one a wiggy.
Well, knowing the context that he is in prehistoric times and that he probably wouldn't have a way to cut his hair or shave his face, I think he looks pretty good for somebody who's stuck in prehistoric times. So I'm going to say that Ray is working it. Caveman Ray is working it.
Riley says, Ray, I miss you. And then also, definitely Pirates of the Caribbean vibes. Yo ho ho, a wig life for me. Rachel says, he is one with the wig.
Well, I think that's gonna do
Oh
it
my
for
God.
all of the wigs that that I had for us.
How many slides were there? Was that like 45 slides?
Oh my gosh, I'd have to go back in and look. Let's see, how many slides was that in total? That was 45 slides, but multiple slides per character. So
Incredible.
I mean, it wasn't exactly 45 wigs, but
so many wigs in the Arrowverse.
So many wigs, so many varieties of wigs.
Amazing varieties, and in some ways not varieties if we assume that they're just passing around that one wig.
I think that Black Canary wig has seen a lot of action, literally. So we're gonna have to ask somebody about that wig because that seems a little sketchy. But thank you to everybody in the chat for playing along.
Oh yeah, this has been so fun
with our silly wig game that we've done here tonight. But this has been a ton of fun. Maybe we have to revisit this in a few years because there will probably be more wigs.
Oh, I'm sure
we could do a part 2 later on if we needed to.
Yeah, I think Wig Watch was very successful tonight.
Yeah, yes, no, I think this was a ton of fun, and thank you all for playing along in the comment section. But that's really all we had for this episode. We were just like, we're going to get together and talk about some wigs.
And then Rebecca was like, hey, let's put together a PowerPoint slide. And I was like, yeah, let's do that. Sure.
Well, if you're going to be talking about something visual, I think
it helps just to have the visuals, like just assaulting us with those wigs.
Sometimes we were not ready for it. Even I, when putting it together, I couldn't remember exactly what was coming next.
Riley wants to know what's been the best wig. The sisterhood. It's a snap judgment.
We did have to have that suggestion to name a best in wig. We forgot to do that.
Okay.
Oh, do I need to pull up the slides again so we can quickly go back through them?
Now, is the best in wig is it best of the worst, or is it best the best one?
Do you want to do like a best in show for Workin It and best in show for Wiggy?
Yes. Let's do that.
Like a genuinely best wig and a genuinely worst wig.
Okay. So my personal best in show for Workin It, the one who's really working it, is Livewire.
Okay.
Hers is my favorite. That wig is perfection. It says I'm unhinged. It's not trying to be something it's not. It's not trying to be human hair, which is the problem that a lot of wigs get into. And I think it did a great job. So that is my best of the best. My best of the worst. I need to pour one out for that braid sticking out of the side of Alex Danvers' head.
That should come as no surprise to anyone who listens to Supergirl Radio. We talk about that wig quite a lot. Actually, it gets a lot of airtime on Supergirl Radio. Oh man, this is really, really tough for me. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go through these again.
I just have to read one quick comment. Okay. Chat. Riley says someone needs to draw fan art of Comet the Super Horse in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Wig.
As his mane, though.
His mane. Yeah, he's just wearing the wig. He's just like really rocking it as a horse.
Okay, all right. So my picks, I think, are going to be. I gotta look at that silver Banshee wig again. All right. Okay, I don't know how this became about Oliver Queen, but I think it's gonna end up being about Oliver Queen. Okay, so my best in wig, I think is gonna be this wig with the long hair.
A respectable showing.
Yeah, and the worst wig, the hat wig.
Hat wig. yeah, that's a hard one to beat. The wig father comes through again.
Okay, so does the chat have any thoughts on best in show?
Let's see. What's everybody's best in shows? I think I'm seeing a lot of people who saying, "Oh, Jessica says Killer Frost is my favorite of the best." Abby also wants to know, Snap Judgment, you get all of Lena's wardrobe, but you have to switch out between all of the Arrowverse wigs. Or you get all of Lena's money, but you have Lex's bald cut.
Oh, that is really tough.
Now, I don't think I can pull off the bald look. I don't think it's for a face shape that is round and moon-like like myself. So I'm gonna go with Lena's wardrobe because I get that sweater I've been wanting. And then I get just a collection of strange wigs. I'll be like Moira Rose on Schitt's Creek. I'll just keep swapping them out.
This is tough because I actually, this is sort of a personal connection for me, but I was sort of bald at one point when I was going through chemo. I didn't lose all of my hair. I looked like Charlie Brown. You know how Charlie Brown has like a couple hair strands that sort of stick up. So I had some stragglers there, but I was mostly bald. And it was tough because it made me really have a lot of sympathy for men who have bald heads because your hair, you don't notice how much warmth you get from your hair because when you don't have any, it's actually very cold. Like your head gets cold a lot. So I don't know that I would want to do that because also when my hair grew back after chemo, I realized how much I missed wind going through your hair. It was like I experienced it for the very first time when it grew back. So I kind of like having, so is the first choice, I'm getting really technical with this one. So the first option is you get Lena's wardrobe.
Yeah.
You have the wigs, but do you also have your normal hair?
I think you have to exclusively wear those wigs. All of the Arrowverse wigs are now your hair from now on. So like one day you're in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Wig, but the next day it's a hat wig time. Like you have to leave the house as hat wig. Although, you know what would be the best time to try this on would be during quarantine. No one would be able to see hat wig. Or Lena's clothes, so you kind of double lose on that one.
That is true. You get the gray sweater, but then you get the hat wig. I think in that case, if I only had wigs as options, I think I would go Lena's money, but Lex bald cut. Because I don't think I could wear wigs. Wigs are itchy and unnatural. I would rather go with a bald cut than deal with that. Yeah.
Also, you'd be so rich.
Yes.
So that would help.
That is the upside. Yeah. I don't know if the
I think we have another snap judgment on from Riley. So Riley's snap judgment is Wig Father or Sisterhood of the Lice Traveling Wig. I mean, I think that this says it all, which is how are you going to go against the Wig Father? He started it all. He created the wigs of the Arrowverse. He hot glued some hair into a hat and then put it on his head. You have to respect that. You have to put some respect on his name, the Wig Father.
That took a lot of effort on his part to do that. I am also going to choose Wig Father on that one.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, this is something I didn't consider. Astra's white streak in her hair. Let me see if I can pull up. For some reason, I missed Astra. Let's see if I can pull up a visual that we could maybe look at and analyze. Okay, so here's maybe a good. All right, so let me pull this up. Give me a second to this. Sometimes when you have to pull up the individual pages, so you should, I think, be able to see this. Oh, actually, let me pull off the comment just so that we can see it a little better.
I feel like Have you ever been to like Claire's where they have like the single individual strands of like pink hair that you can clip in? And you're like, look, I've got pink hair. And your mom's like, take it out. And you're like, no, I'm a rebel. I feel like that's what Astra's got, what she's working with here. She's like, she got to Earth, like things didn't quite go her way. And one day she just stumbled into a Claire's and she was like, I'm going to have a whole new look. Look, Non, you don't own me.
I think Astra's working it. I think I would say working it for this one.
I would say working it too. I think that she's got a whole brand new lease on life with that wig, with that single strand of hair that she clipped in.
It really set her apart. She was like, I know I have a twin, but I want to look a little different.
Exactly.
She really stood out. I think we also had another snap judgment. Actually, I guess this comment, can that count as a wig if we're talking about just like strand? I think so. It's a hair piece.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if we were judging Lena by whatever was happening on the back of her head, whatever had attached itself violently to her head, then I think we have to count that as a wig adjacent, right?
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. I did. I thought I saw another snap judgment in here. Did I miss one?
The one from Paula.
Yeah. Snap judgment, Livewire with Earth 1 Alex's braid or Earth 1 Alex with Livewire's hair.
Ooh. I would never do that to Livewire. May she rest in peace. So I think Earth 1 Alex with Livewire's hair, because I think she would like loosen up a little. She would have a little bit of fun. She'd be like, I'm really sad, but like look at my hair. It's like my hair is having its own party. So
I would also choose Earth 1 Alex with Livewire's hair. I think she would look good.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Anything else we missed here in the chat? I love that everyone is so engaged with
this has been really fun.
There's this comment from Riley. Arrowverse, more like Wigverse. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all of the comments and the questions. Let's see. Jeremiah may be dead, but Alex's hair would be living at its finest.
That is true.
Yeah, I don't think Jeremiah ever had a wig. Now, Space Dad did have the sideburns as Henshaw.
That's true.
As the cyborg Superman. Well, yeah, Henshaw became cyborg Superman, so he did have a little bit of the sideburns. But I don't know that you could qualify that as a wig. Okay, well, it's almost an hour. No, almost 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Have we been doing this for 2 hours?
I think we have.
That can't be right.
There's a lot of wigs, Rebecca.
Wow.
A lot of wigs.
That did not feel like 2 hours.
It didn't. It flew right by.
So, yeah, Paula B says, shout out to the costume supervisor on Supergirl. Yeah, I know we ragged on the wigs, but kudos to the hair and makeup people and the costume people for all the work that they do on these shows. This was just
they do a great job.
This was just an attempt to have a little fun during quarantine and before the show comes back. So hope nobody takes it personally. We're just having a little good fun here. All right. Well, I guess since we have been doing this for some time now, maybe we should wrap it up. So that's going to do it for this live and wired episode of Supergirl Radio. Thank you to everyone in the chat who played along with us, and hope you had a good time here with us tonight. If you would like to contact us and talk about your wiggy thoughts, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 678-718-7252 and make sure to write and call in before Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. We try to do a Supergirl live stream every Sunday afternoon. So if you're into that, follow us on Instagram. You can listen to us on Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We also have a Spotify playlist that includes music featured on and inspired by the show. We are also on Radio Public and Podchaser, which you still have some time if you want to leave us a review on Podchaser and help raise some money for Meals on Wheels. You can still do that. We are also listed on DC's fan page, which you can find at dccomics.com/DC-fans. We're available on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher Radio. So if you have some time, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review. And you can find all of the links to everything I just mentioned on supergirlradio.com on the right side of the page. And since we don't have the ability to play the DC TV plugs over StreamYard just yet, I don't know, Morgan. I didn't put it in the doc, but do you?
I know.
Do you want to try it?
I'll do it. Do you have it to drop into the doc, or do I have to do it from memory? Because I'm not forget the podcast.
I think you should just improvise it,
okay, like jazz.
Yeah.
Well, you should check out the other DC TV podcasts. You get great content like the Flash podcast, like Legends of Tomorrow podcast, like Black Lightning podcast. Like there are other of the podcasts that you get. Batwoman podcast. I remembered. There's probably a Titans one. I feel pretty confident about that.
Black Lightning podcast.
Black Lightning podcast. Did I say that one already? I might have. You should listen to that one twice. And all the other podcasts that are going to show up on the DC TV Podcast Network. You're saying to yourself, Morgan, that sounds like a lot of podcasts. I can't keep up with all of those. It's fine. We have a DC TV Podcast mega feed. We also have a DC TV Podcast Twitter and a Facebook and an Instagram. I feel pretty confident about. Yes, and an Instagram. And you should follow all of those. And then it'll tell you when there's new episodes. And you're like, cool, there's a new episode of the Batwoman podcast. I'm going to check that out. And there's a new episode of the other podcast that I don't remember and I didn't say. And it's not because I don't think it's a good podcast. It's because there's too many now. And that is the motto. It's the tagline of the DC TV Podcast Network. Andy hasn't approved this, but I'm floating it out there. And the tagline is going to be DC TV Podcast. There's too many now! Exclamation point. And you should enjoy all of those. There's a Superman one coming up to prove my point.
Yeah. That was amazing. I think I'm just going to take that audio and just drop it into every episode now.
Oh, Stargirl. Somebody help me out in the comments. There's a Stargirl one. It's coming up.
Yes, we definitely do have a Stargirl podcast that you can listen to if you would like.
Rachel said I should have done it in the Hope voice, which was a missed opportunity.
So do you want to do the tagline in the
DC TV Podcasts? There are too many. That's the tagline.
Amazing. Amazing. All right. Well, that should tell you everything you need to know about DC TV.
No more questions. No questions, please. Please respect me in this private time.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at the Derby Kid. And if you want to see some of the video content that I've been creating, and I've been doing a lot of live streams like this one for UA Museums, you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/UA Museums, which seems like an appropriate URL for that. So you can follow us and subscribe there if you want to see some of the stuff that I've been working on.
Nice. And you can follow me on Facebook, on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mojotastic. I also just literally today adopted some kittens. Their names are Beaker and Bunsen. And I'm going to probably be posting a lot of pictures of them on my Instagram. So if you want to get in on those kitten pictures while they're hot, you should follow me there. I'm also co-host on the Legends of Tomorrow podcast, which we just opened up a new thing on the podcast where we're asking our listeners to send us emails about like the cool stuff that they've been doing. And we're going to schedule some time, like a 10-minute recording time to talk to them. And then we're going to put those in the episode. So we're really looking forward to seeing who we can talk to. And like there's some cool people who've popped up already with neat projects. It doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be like making a podcast or writing a comic book or anything like that. You could just be going about your quarantine life and doing something cool or starting up a new hobby. We want to hear from you. It's thelegendspodcast@gmail.com if you're a listener and you want to hop on with us for a couple minutes.
That sounds awesome. I don't think that I can qualify in that in that.
Well, you are a listener, Rebecca. That's the
I mean, I do listen. I don't
You're
watch
not
the
a
show.
watcher, but you are a listener. And we did not stipulate that you had to watch the show, only listen to the podcast. So, I mean, it's open to you.
I will let some other people do that. Maybe we can have a Supergirl Radio Legends of Tomorrow podcast crossover at some point during the summer, and that will satisfy my need to be on the podcast. So I'll let some other people be part of that. But that's awesome. That's really cool that y'all are doing that. All right. Well, I think it's going to do it for this week's episode of Supergirl Radio. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
I'm still Morgan Glennon.
And even if some of these wigs were real wiggy, we'd like to think that the cast of Supergirl is always working it. All right.
Snaps for the wigs of the Arrowverse.
All right, everybody. Well, I think we probably should get out of here. We've been talking about
2 hours of wig talk.
But thank you guys for hanging out with us in the chat and spending your time with us tonight. This was really fun for us.
Thanks for joining us. That was so fun.
Yeah. So hopefully you all had a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do some more of these maybe in the summer. Something like that.
Oh, we're going to have such a long hiatus, Rebecca.
If you have thoughts about what you want us to cover, send it to us at, actually, I have a banner for this that I didn't put up while we were going. But if you have any more suggestions for episodes, feel free to send us an email at supergirlradio@gmail.com. We care about what you want to hear. So definitely send us your recommendations. Well, hope everybody has a great rest of your week. Stay healthy and safe, and you will hear from us later.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Morgan.